Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, to a new edition of Book Review. Our book for today is quite interesting, but somewhat odd. Our book for today is actually an implementation of a book for Sun Tzu, a Chinese author who authored a book called The Art of War. This book is taught all around the world, in all military schools. The book, The Art of War, has an implementation. In what? In business. Our book for today is Sun Tzu for Execution by Stephen W. Michelson. This book is discussing business through the laws or the rules taught by Sun Tzu in his book, The Art of War. Joining me today is a dear brother of mine. Joining me today is engineer Mohammed Sawi, the marketing manager at Nilesat. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Engineer Mohammed, we want to start this book by linking or discussing the link that the author has between war and business.
Well, the main concept of war and the business nowadays, it's became almost a synonym to each other now. Mm-hmm. You can find it could be the business, it could be a tool between countries or governments to attack each other. Mm. Or you can find between organizations themselves, you can find war. Mm. And the tactics and strategy are there all the time. Mm. We know all the struggle that been between Apple and Samsung, and this fine which Samsung has to pay to Apple, and they paid with pennies. Mm. It is very related now.
So you mean that now organizations are like countries and they're conquering each other?
Exactly, exactly. There is acquisitions, which is similar to conquering.
So they need strategies similar to war strategies. That's what you mean?
In strategies, not only when approaching the market or the business itself, but when aligning your troops or your team and putting all your employees to be well oriented toward your goal and objectives.
So he starts by talking about simplicity, and he links that to Sun Tzu's original book. So can you tell us what's the link between simplicity and how do we implement the concept of simplicity onto business? And how was it actually mentioned by in the original book, The Art of War?
Well, simplicity,
what does he mean by that first?
Simplicity is to be simple. It has 5 elements for him. First, it's the communication. It's like similar to the communication between the troops themselves and the units is a link between the units themselves. There is the timing. Of course, the timing when to strike and when to stop. The clarity of your orders, and the inspiration of anyone to fight and to sacrifice their life. They have to be inspired. And of course, first of all, you need a leadership for this.
Can we talk a little bit about each one?
First, regarding the communication. Communication, it has to be easy, a clear message. That, for example, when I express it to my team or my troops or my employee, I'm saying that I'm going to be number 1. It's very easy message to be understood. And then I have to be consistent. Consistent in what? I want to be number 1, so I have to act as I am number 1 in everything, in my attitude, in my clothes, in my voice, in my work, in everything. I am number one. So I have to walk as I talk. And then it has to be repeated over and over. So every time, whenever I meet my team, whenever I meet my employees, I say, we shall be number one. We are number one.
Motivation.
And it is not motivation, but it is repetition. Only I'm repeating the message that to be programmed or to be a part of your way of thinking, that you have to think that you are number one. I have inspired you. Now you believe that you are number one. Everywhere you go, you are number one. And then you're going to act as number one, and then you're going to achieve this goal.
Excellent.
And then the second aspect is timing. Sun Tzu is speaking about the timing and giving an example as the bow, that you put the arrow and you pull it, so you put energy, and then you release it at the right time of having the maximum energy and well pointing. This is the timing. This is exactly when addressing the market. You have good product, but there is timing to put it. For example, you have a wonderful product for air cooling, but you cannot put it or market it during winter.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the timing. Or you cannot come with your product at the same time with your rivals. Coming with another product, it could be better than yours. You have to tip the water first.
Excellent.
And then
clarity.
You have to be within the time. You have to move swiftly for meaning. You know that there is two aspects in timing.
Okay.
There is occasional period that you know that your rivals are weak, but you're going to get stronger. For example, they got flu, for example. Okay, so this is your time to either to get stronger or to beat him.
Okay.
And there is a long term.
And the relationship between this and war is quite obvious, as you're saying, timing and you're utilizing the right time to attack.
Exactly.
It's quite obvious.
And then the clarity.
The clarity, that's the third one.
The clarity is to be clear in everything, to be clear in your message,
okay,
to be clear in your goals, to be clear in what you expect from your troops and what your troops are expecting from you. You have to reinforce your behavior by results. If I'm going to work harder, I'm going to be rewarded. It could be rewarded any tangible or intangible rewards. And then comes the inspiration. You have to make your team to believe in your goal. You cannot sell the idea before you can sell yourself. You have to make the people to accept you, not as a leader, but at least to accept you as a peer. And then to accept your thinking, your plans, your dreams. And then leadership. Of course, you have set your own agenda. You are focusing on the goals, and you have to be a good listener. Not only a listener to your team or to your troops or but you have to be a good listener to your rivals as well. They might give you clues that will guide you through the darkness.
Excellent.
So this is about simplicity.
He then moves on to creating alignment. Can you elaborate on that? What does he mean, and what's the relationship between it and the original book, The Art of War?
The Art of War is talking about to make your troops well aligned and oriented toward the goal or the target that you're aiming for.
Okay.
However, the author has divided the creating the alignment into several elements.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is you have to fight your most important fights. It doesn't make any sense to fight any subsidiary fight or any side fight which is distracting you from the main goal.
Good point. And then here he talks about focusing on the most important business sector or marketing sector, and he links that to the original book, right?
Exactly. It's
Okay.
you have to focus on what you do and what you're going to do.
Okay.
Never get distracted. For example, he's in the book. He's giving an example that if you're going for example, if you're going to build a new building,
Okay.
while you're building it, you have a neighbor that is complaining from the building, from its height, or from the noise, or anything. If you're going to focus with this neighbor, you'll never be having enough time to focus on this building.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you are competing with someone and he's doing blah, 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 and then you're going to be distracted by what he's doing, so you'll never be doing what you want to do. You can get easily be disappointed or distracted.
Distracted, yeah.
And then he talks about creating the mass,
Okay.
which I was talking about is selling your idea. Making the mass at the right time, at the right place.
Right time and right place.
Yes. For example, if you have a limited amount of employees and you need them for an exhibition, but at the same time you need people to be working on a routine task at your enterprise or your organization. You can get these 12 people to work there and then take them to the exhibition. So they will be looking as you have a huge amount of employees. However, there are only 12 people.
Excellent. Great.
Okay, and of course, you have to create linkage between the management. Every team, you have to make your right hand to be talking to your left hand to avoid any duplication in tasks, or to make any task that will be contradicting with other ones. So you're going to see the fight between the managers all the day.
Or between the leaders on the battlefield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, excellent.
And then the most important thing is to use adversity to unite your troops. He's saying that, Sun Tzu is saying that you're going to find your troops are more unified in hostile territory more than in friendly territories. Why? Because you are all unified, you are due to the fact that you are facing the same danger. So you are holding the back of each other. So this was...
Michelson relates this to business by saying the same, right?
Yes.
By saying that with regards to employees this time.
Yes, you have to explain to your employees that if we are affected or we have beaten in these hostile territories, we are going to run out of business and every one of you will be laid off and stay at home.
Very exciting. We're going to go to a short break, and after the break we have more of this exciting book, so stay tuned to Book Review. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Sun Tzu for Execution by Michelson is our book for today. We stopped before the break at creating alignment. Now we want to talk about people always. What does he mean by that?
He means that along the way of the execution of your plans or your objectives or your battle, you have to look after your people. You have to look after what they need. what they fear, what they would be dreaming for.
Mm.
By this, you are creating loyalty, and you're going to get more focus and more strength
Mm.
in people.
He talks at this point about motivation, and that I understand how this works with regards to the battlefield. But in an organization, people should be believing in the role, but that doesn't work always. So how can we improve organizational motivation?
Well, there is no inspiration without motivation, and no motivation without inspiration.
What do you mean by that?
Inspiration is to make you to believe in what you're doing,
Mm.
to believe in our goal. And the motivation is to give you the promise, when we achieve this goal, what is the reward that you're going to have?
Mm.
This is the motivation.
Mm.
There is a positive motivation and negative motivation.
Mm.
Positive motivation that I'm telling you giving you the reward,
Mm.
and the negative motivation that I'm telling you about the punishment that you're going to have if we did not succeed.
Mm.
Today, the organizations are working by only the negative motivation and no inspiration.
Mm.
The only motivation that you're going to take your salary. If you're not working, you're not going to take the salary.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you.
And then, so everyone will be afraid,
Mm.
will be fearing. So he'll be afraid to make more work, that he might be committing any mistake, that will be punished for.
Mm.
At the other side, if he is inspired by the goal and the objectives are clear for him, he will be thinking how to enhance his way of work to deliver more and more efficient work in terms of time, in terms of quality, rather than of being feared. This is how it should be. To be inspired and positively motivated.
And compensated.
And compensated, of course. Of your efforts, of course.
The next element that he talks about is flexibility. Let's implement that on business, or see his implementation. And let's relate it also to the original, the art of war.
When you're in a battlefield,
okay,
you have to be really flexible. Why? Because you cannot anticipate every move from the enemy. So you have to be flexible. If he's attacking from the right, then you can move from left to right. If he's attacking from the front, you can easily move backward and then re-attack to the front. You have to be really flexible. This is how you have to set your team. Your team has to be ready for any change, that any sudden change, either in the management, either in the environment of work, or it could be even in salary. You have to make people to be ready. You have to be flexible. In terms of all aspects, if you're going to change the plans, if you're going to change even sometimes, you have to change people. However, it's not advisable to change people.
He mentions taking advantage of the opportunity. I guess that's important to expand on. Taking advantage of the opportunity. That works out on the battlefield, but it also works out in business.
Some people or some managers, they have in mind that I'm going to stick to my plan. Even I have an opportunity in front of me, but I'm going to stick to the plan as it is. Taking an opportunity, of course, it could deviate your plans a bit and make you to work more on the execution of the plan and itself. However, it could enhance the chances for you to succeed in achieving your goals. And
he also no, go ahead, continue your point.
No, it is simply as in Islam. If Allah opens to you a door, you have to take that chance.
Definitely.
Never throw it away.
Definitely. All this should be implemented in our organizations as Muslims in order to succeed. And Islam does not If it does not contradict with the Islamic values, then it's permissible, and then we should take it to achieve success, and that's something that goes under the basics of Islam. So let's now talk about an element that he mentions at the end, which is having towering strengths. Let's expand on that a little bit, because this is the last element which he takes out of the original book, The Art of War, and he implements on business. What does he mean by that?
Having a towering strength in what we call it today, you have to have your own core competence. Your core competence, it means that you should have an advantage or a privilege over your rivals, that it cannot be easily replicated, that it's not easily achieved, and it's only you who knows it or have it. He split this into several elements, which was to be harder to be replicated, and he spoke about money and time. Money, if you have a huge amount of money, you have to have this towering leverage. For example, Walmart, to avoid any competitions for any store they have, what they are doing, they acquire every single shop or empty land around their shop to avoid any future competition within the same area. So because why they can do that? Because they have money. Okay, and the other thing is time. Your rival may not have enough time, and you do. For example, if you're working on a product that takes a lot to be for R&D, and your rival doesn't have enough time, he has to be rushed, which happened with the very old time with the Netscape and the Explorer of MSN, Microsoft at that time. Netscape was about to release its new edition, and Microsoft was in a hurry to put their own browser in market. It was a competition in time. Netscape was totally ready, and it was taking a significant share in the market. And due to the lack of time of Microsoft, they came with their Explorer, which was a scandal at that time. It happens vice versa with Netscape again, with Explorer. When Explorer was having now a good browser and they were coming at the market, and Netscape didn't have enough time to make the
So
right
they weren't
test.
able to.
They were not able, and they lost the market.
I would like, as a closing, to have a word from you to business managers in the Muslim world, in particular in the Gulf.
I urge them to believe in what they're doing and to make the business to add values or add service or to have a significant mission in the life of the society, and to make them their aim not to make more money. The aim is to achieve a goal. If I'm going to make a business and I believe, for example, in clean energy, I do believe in it, and I want to make everyone to go to clean energy, I will start my business in solar panels to provide it to people. Because I believe in it, I'll be able to sell it, and I'll be able to take all the heat for this to achieve my goal. With time, I'm going to make money, but I have achieved two things, not only one thing. I have achieved my goal, and I have made money.
Engineer Mohammed Isawi, the marketing manager at Nilesat, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you too, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, for watching this very exciting episode of Book Review. We recommend this book for all of you who want to be successful business leaders, inshallah, and to benefit from these strategies. It's not wrong, it's not against Islam to benefit from ethical and things that are not contradicting with our Islamic teachings and values. That's right. And till the next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.